Hey everybody, it's Wes with Fundamental Games. Today I'm going to be doing a digital game review of Flamecraft. Now normally I would do this on Tabletop Simulator, but this game happens to be on Tabletopia, which I haven't actually played full games on Tabletopia, but I have experimented with the platform, and I've even put my own games on here before, just because I know there's a lot of users out there that like this free server-based atmosphere. And again, it's played on Steam through Tabletopia, or Tabletopia has a direct server. I think it's linked to Steam Online. Anyway, Flamecraft is a very cute game with dragons that do things that you wouldn't expect dragons to do. Normally, you expect them to do burning and raiding and freezing and lightning and stuff like that. In this game, they're crafty, artsy dragons that create this little town that you have fun in with your opponents. And so I've already done a Kickstarter campaign review. This time I'm doing a board game overview, so just talking more about the mechanics of the game itself instead of just the Kickstarter campaign. So let's take a look at Flamecraft, 5 things that I like. And the one that stands out the most, and it did on the Kickstarter as well, is the artwork, of course. So if you take a look, I'll just zoom in on a few here. Here's a picture of little toasty bread guy taking some bread out of the oven or putting it in the oven. Looks like out because it's steaming, but very cute art style there. The artist, Sandera, I believe her name is, has a very great style, that line work with the kind of watercolorish look to it. A little bit of anime, although the eyes are smaller than most anime, but I just like the imagery. It looks very happy. It looks very genuine. There's a huge consistency in the artwork from the overview of this town map that goes in the center of the board to each of the main dragons that you can get. There's Shale, here's Honey, or there's a different group of dragons called Fancy Dragons you can get with other names, Patty. But either way, if you look at the game board here, you can just see that the art is quite enjoyable to look at. So that's the first thing I like about it, and it stood out very well on the Kickstarter as well, on the pages and the style that they had. So you can see it's all over the game. It's colorful. It's fun. Second thing I like is that the game itself works on this big dragon village. So you can see here there's spots for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 total locations that you could have basically worker placement spots, because you're going to put your dragons on these places and benefit or place new cards on them. And there's another set here of 11 cards. I think the Kickstarter is unlocking more. This is just the Tabletopia version right now. So if you think about it, there's 12 spots, and I don't know if I can zoom out here again. 12 spots, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 cards. So that means there's always 6 that you won't be playing with. And if the game expands and makes more locations, then there's even more, which means every game is going to be a little bit different. And you don't start with all of them full. So your initial game setup may have a couple of starter spots, or you might go totally random and just for fun and kicks. And that way you're always playing a different game. So you don't know if you're going to have potable potions as a shop to go to, or if you're going to have the fragile reptile. And different places give you different resources and perks and scoring and whatnot. So I like that. It's got a variable setup and a variable full game system because of those locations. You're not going to get to play every location every game. And that reminds me of many games, but the first one that comes to mind is a game called Ex Libre, where they had locations that have specific actions, but you never get all the locations every game. All right, the third thing that I like is that you get to benefit from others' worker placements or card placements. So if I were to go up here, for example, in the game, you have the ability to play cards onto these locations. So each location can have up to 3 cards. So let's say, for example, I were able to play Flint on this location because his anvil matches that anvil. So on this one, you could play Flint, or you could play the Meat Dragon. And when I play it there, I get an immediate benefit. I think that one says I get a Fancy Dragon. And then for future turns, anybody else who goes here is going to benefit by getting not only the meat on Draco Bell, I think it's Taco Bell, Draco Bell. Not only do they get a meat token, they also now get a steel token because Flint is there. And then there's a little fire bonus that they might get as well. It says gain 2 items of the shop or dragon type here. So if you trigger the fire, and there's a special mechanic to do that, then you might get double of one of the resources. But then if somebody else plays a card, so let's say another person plays Loaf here, or they bring their dragon here, just like their I think they can place their dragon meeple here. So if I send my dragon just to visit the shop, I benefit from all of the dragons that were previously placed in that location. So it's kind of neat how you can, you might want to place a thing at a location, but you then know that anybody else who goes there is going to get an extra benefit that you didn't get by placing first. And so there's a bit of timing and strategy that comes into play with that. And of course, take a look at these cute little dragons while we zoom in here, because sneeze, and I'm not cutting that out because don't have the time to edit. All right, but that is the worker placement mechanic. I like the fact that you get all these different locations to choose from to go to, but also the mechanic that you're building up that location with other dragons and everybody benefits from it. There's usually no downside to getting more resources from what I've seen. All right, the fourth thing I like is that there are several different styles of dragons. You can see here, Cutlet is a little red dragon, Hambone. They're all kind of named after their species or their styles. So we're going to take a look at the rulebook, and that'll help explain it just a bit more. We'll scroll through to the bottom here. Now we'll try to slowly scroll up here. So here's the different dragon types. And Flame Keepers share a special bond with the 6 artisan dragons, inspiring their unique Flamecraft ability. So that's like the little fire icon that you see. But there's bread dragons. They always let you draw a dragon from the park into your hand. There's meat dragons. Let you place a dragon in an open slot in any shop in town. There's iron dragons, crystal dragons, potion dragons, plant dragons. And then, of course, there's the fancy dragons. And those are the ones that give you secret points at the end of the game, or one-time points during the game. So I like that each of the dragons is not just there for color and for style, but also for their theme blends into mechanics. I think that was well integrated, and it makes the game more enjoyable because of that. So very cute. And then, of course, the fifth thing that I like is when games offer something that isn't completely obvious about how you're going to win. So it's very obvious anything on the table where you could go to earn points, and you might have some of those points face up on the table. But what are not face up on the table are, again, these cards that I had shown earlier. We'll flip a couple more over and zoom in here. So Gemma says you get 2 hearts, which is reputation, if you have 3 diamonds. And you get 3 hearts if you have the most diamonds. And that's not when you reveal the card. This is a end game situation. So at the end of the game, I get 2 bonus reputation if I have 3 diamonds. And if I have the most diamonds, I get an extra. Or if we take a look at Juicy, at the end of the game, I get 2 reputation if I have the most meat. So it gives you a reason to choose particular dragons, whether it's meat dragons or plant dragons. But then there are some other cards, and we'll see if we can find one in here. I'm not as well versed in digging through decks with this as I am with Tabletop Simulator. We'll try to see if there's an end game one somewhere. You score 3 for Todd. This one you score if you have the most steel. This one, potions. So I don't. They're in here. I'm just not coming across one. But there are one-time bonus ones as well, where if you play the card when you play it, you get a certain amount of points if you meet the condition, or you might get extra points if you exceed the condition. But either way, the fancy dragons are a nice way to hide some of the points that you might be eligible for getting, and it also encourages you to play in a certain way. So I might not normally care about meat dragons, but all of a sudden, if I get a card like Juicy, I'm suddenly going to care about having more meat dragons. And so if I have the most meat, then I might get a benefit at the end of the game. So there you have it. That is the 5 things that I liked after kind of reviewing and looking at this Tabletop Simulator game demonstration of Flamecraft. It does have over $1.5 million raised thus far, which is crazy. They're not a first-time producer, but this is their first hit game. They've had a game that did over 100,000, and then they had some kind of accessory, I think. But this is the first game they've had that's really broken the mold, and I think it's a combination of Sandera's fantabulous artwork, the wonderful components, the whimsical, fun-looking game that doesn't look like it's too competitive or too hard to learn, but still offers enjoyment. And of course, it does offer you the chance to buy the deluxe version that has those cool dragon figurines that you saw as well, not to mention the tokens and everything else you get. So there you have it. That's Flamecraft. Check it out. I think by the time this goes live, this video will be on for about 48 more hours. It's at 60 hours right now, and this will launch soon enough. So hopefully you like the game. If you backed it or if you had a chance to play the game, tell me what you like about it. Tell some of the other watchers of this video what you liked about it. And maybe they can get a little bit higher than 1.5 million. Maybe they can crack 2. Anyway, thanks again, and have a great day.